What is going on YouTube? TM Cycles here in normal clothes today. It's rest day for me, so I'm not down the gym. I've just come back from the doctors actually to talk about my blood test results. Now, as you lot may know, or if you don't know and watching this for the first time, I recently did a 10-week testosterone and anaphase steroid cycle. There's a video on my channel describing how it went and what I took, etc. I thought it was a good idea to get some blood test results done post-cycle just to see if my body was still in check, if anything has changed, if everything was alright. I still think that's a good idea, so if anyone's watching this and is planning on taking steroids or is about to take steroids, I would suggest getting some form of blood test results done just to see how your kidneys and your liver and things like that are functioning anyway. I went to my doctor before my cycle and told him that I'd be taking steroids. He advised me not to, as all doctors would. But he advised me not to get any blood test results pre-cycle because he knows me and he thought that my body would have been fine, kidney function and liver function, etc. But I got some blood test results post-cycle. Now they came back not bad results, but slight worry on the doctor's behalf and slightly mine. And the problem was with my kidneys. Now, he told me that I had a low GFR, which I didn't know what that was, and it stands for glomerular filtration rate. So basically the rate in which your kidneys filter and then you piss it out, basically. He said I've got a level of 68, which is slightly low, which is a bit of a worry, and I had high creatinine levels as well, but he assured me that the high creatinine levels are high because, you know, a lot of bodybuilders and gym goers and sort of strength athletes, etc., will supplement with things like protein shakes and creatine monohydrate, so they'll have a raised creatinine level anyway. So if you were to get blood test results and you weren't on steroids, but you were a gym goer and you take supplements and you had a high creatinine level, there's nothing really to worry about on that side. But he was more worried about my GFR. Now I asked him, was that due to the anabolic steroids? You know, bearing in mind I've only done one steroid cycle, it was only 10 weeks, I didn't think it could affect it in that sort of short period of time. But he seemed to think it did. And he also seemed to think that my protein intake is going to affect my kidney function. Now I'm on quite a high protein diet, nothing sort of abnormal or nothing that normal bodybuilders don't really have. I've about 300 grams to about 350 grams of protein a day, which is sort of the norm for bodybuilders really. But he seemed to think that was affecting my kidney function. So I did a little bit of research, and there has been some studies and some, you know, news articles saying that high protein diets can hurt your kidneys, and that the patients that they were studied on who had high protein diets after the study had some form of kidney disease. Now if you look closely into that, the patients that had the kidney problems were the patients that had the kidney problems were the patients with kidney problems in the first place. So all the patients that I've looked at on the studies that had normal kidney function on a high protein diet were fine. So if you have a normal, you know, kidney function, everything's fine, and you're having an excessive amount of protein, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, these people had slight kidney problems in the first place, and they had this high protein diet, and it then followed that they had, you know, slightly worse kidney function. So that may be the case for me, in which that I may have had some form of kidney problem, you know, for a long time and I didn't know about it. And I don't know if it's directly related to the anabolic steroid usage. There are reports on anabolic steroids, you know, causing kidney damage. You know, Flex Wheeler had to have a kidney transplant. A couple other, you know, IFBB pros had some form of kidney disease and kidney infections and things like that. Luke Wood had kidney problems. But then I said, okay, so what do I do now? Obviously, as a doctor, he advised me not to ever take steroids ever again, which is slightly annoying, and I'm just going to be a bit in denial, and I will probably end up taking some form of steroids again. But him as a doctor obviously advised me not to. So I said, what do I do about the whole protein thing and the protein intake? And he told me to have a normal balanced diet and all that sort of normal shit, and have a basic protein intake. And he gave me a website to go on to check what the RDA for protein is. Now, I looked at this, and he said I should follow this, and I typed in my weight, etc. And it said that I should be taking 56 grams of protein a day. Now that's bollocks. I don't care if I'm on stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 kidney failure, and I'm on dialysis. 56 grams of protein a day is ridiculous. So I'm definitely not dropping down to 56. Currently, I'll probably, as I said before, I'm on about 300 to 350 grams of protein a day. I'll probably drop that down to about 160. So I've got 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So it works out to about 160. But yeah, the RDA which he told me to take was 56 grams of protein. Now that's ridiculous. That would equate to about 56, about 224 calories. So if I were to take 56 grams of protein a day, that would equate to 224 calories, and the recommended daily allowance for calories daily for a man is about, what, 2,500? So if you take 2,500 and minus 200 and whatever from protein, I've got another 2,280 calories to spare. Now, where am I going to get that from? Carbs and fat? If I have 2,280 grams from fucking carbs and fat, that's just going to lead to other things. So I don't really agree with him on that whole 56 grams of protein a day, and I wouldn't advise that to anyone. But to wrap up, yeah, if you have a kidney, if there's something wrong with your kidneys in the first place and you're on a high protein diet, I would expect there to be problems in the long run for your kidneys, because they're obviously not working well enough for you to take on board that high amount of protein a day that you're having. So if you are like me and have slight kidney problem like I do at the moment, hopefully it will get better, we don't know, then I would consider dropping your protein intake. I'm going to be dropping it slightly to about 160 grams of protein, definitely not 56 grams of protein a day. I usually get 56 grams of protein or more in one meal. However, I'll keep you updated in terms of how my kidneys are getting on. I've got another blood tests and urine tests, etc. It'll be good to see if anyone's watching this, and if any of you are watching this and have had or have been on a steroid cycle and got blood test results back, I would love for you to email me them or just to discuss with me how you got on. I hope this video has been a help. I don't really help, just to explain what's happening with me. Keep your eye out for another video that I'll be doing on HCG. I've collected some research for that, which should be good, and I'll be also doing like a little supplement review on a supplement I'm taking at the moment. That shit there, serious mass. But